Today we are continuing Chapter 3. This is the third day. So Chapter 3, Day 3. Today is all about slope. So we'll start just by defining slope. Slope is the steepness or the slant of a line. There are a few different ways to write slope. I would say this is like the fanciest way. So that's the Greek letter. Anyone know what it is?
A.
No.
B.
No.
B.
Triangle. It's actually delta. So delta y over delta x is how you would say that. That's the fancy way of saying the rise over the run. Or some people call it the change in y over the change in x. Okay? So the top number is your change up and down. The bottom number is your change left or right. Okay, so just write these and then we're going to talk about them. Okay? I think it's easier to sort of see them all and then discuss why each is the way that it is. Okay. I want to focus on the middle two first. So we said that this was the rise over the run or the change up and down over the change left or right. So to go from, let's say, I'm just going to add some arbitrary points. Let's say I want to go from here to here. Am I going up or down? Up. And then am I going left or right? Right. So you going up. Up is a positive number. Right is a positive number. So a positive over a positive is a positive. So this is a positive slope. It's going up. Okay? Sort of makes sense, right? Here, again, if I just pick two arbitrary points, how would I go from here to here? I would have to go down. Down would be a negative. And then to the right would be a positive. And a negative over a positive is a negative. So this has a negative slope. It's going down. Okay? Now, these two are the ones that trick people a lot. I always like to think of a skier, okay? So I'm going to draw you a little stick man. Feel free to draw it too.
I have a question.
Yes?
Aren't they both called zero because aren't they both on the axes?
No, I will actually explain why. With a fun little stick man. Okay, so this is you. You're going skiing. I'm going to put a black and red jacket on him so he thinks he's in dress code when he's not. Not naming any names or anything.
Charizard.
Okay, so how fast do you think this guy's going? Nothing. If you are on a slope like that, you are not moving. You're going 0 miles an hour. Okay? Now, let's take this same person
I'm not naming any names.
and put him on this slope. What do you think's going to happen to him?
He's gonna die.
His fate is undefined. Okay? See what I did there? There you go.
Not funny.
So that's a little funny memory trick that I use with myself to keep those two straight. I think these two are pretty easy. All right? It's going up, it's positive. It's going down, it's negative. These two are the ones that trick people a lot. So if you are trying to ski, think of what's happening. You're either going 0 miles an hour or your fate is totally undefined. All right? Once we learn the formula for slope, I'll show you mathematically why this is the case. But right now, just remember the funny little skiing man.
On this next part, we don't have any letters.
Any questions? It's just a stick man. It's not art class, okay? Artistic abilities aside, do we have any questions? Okay. So yours are missing the letters. Focus. All right, so go ahead and label these. So here's A, we'll do that one first. So I want to count the rise over the run. And if you're having a hard time deciding which one goes first, rise or run, think about when you wake up in the morning and you like really have to go to the bathroom. What do you have to do first? You got to rise out of that bed and then you got to run to the bathroom, okay? So you rise and then you run. Okay? So on this one, it doesn't really matter which point you start at. Let's count our rise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go down 4, and how much am I running?
None.
None. What is any number divided by 0?
0.
No.
Divide. Yeah.
Type it in your calculator.
Error.
Error. Think about the skiing man. What was his fate on a slope like this? Undefined. So I told you mathematically it makes sense too. If you are dividing by a 0, your answer is undefined. That's why this slope is undefined. So you can either do rise over run and figure it out, or you can remember the skier. I don't really care as long as you end up with the answer undefined. So 2 ways to remember the same slope.
So wait,
Can you find a slope with that 0 up there? E. Same idea for E. If I count the rise and the run, I'm not rising at all, but I am running 1, 2, 3, 4. What is 0 divided by 4?
Undefined.
No. 0.
Yeah.
What?
That one you can do mathematically. Type it in the calculator if you don't believe me. Or, again, just remember the skier, okay?
I'm so confused.
Type it into the calculator.
I will.
0 divided by 4 is 0. 4 divided by 0 is undefined, okay? Or remember the skiers and take my word for it. All right. Are we ready for B?
Can't divide by 0.
How do you know which thought you started at?
Doesn't matter.
Well, you're gonna do-
Okay, I'm going to start at this dot. It doesn't matter, honestly, which one you start at. I usually start to the one on the left. Okay, so if you start at the one on the left and you have to go up or down, which way are you going? So that's a -1, 2. Then I have to run 1, 2 to the right. So is that positive or negative? Positive. And what is a -2 divided by a +2? -1 is my slope. Now, if you don't believe me, let's go the other way. If you start down here, you're rising 2. That's a +2. But then you have to go left. And left is a negative.
Oh, look at the 4-leaf clover.
So it doesn't matter which point you start at. You should still end up with a slope that's a -1 when you simplify. Okay? Let's find line C. Oh, C is right here. See it? Okay, so I'm going to start again on the left point. If you start on the right point, that's fine. When you simplify, we should get the same thing. How many do I have to rise? 1, 2. How many do I have to run?
6.
Good. Can you simplify 2 over 6?
1/3.
1 over 3. Good. Because we counted 2 jumps. 1, 2. Now, if the slope simplifies to 1/3, that means that every time you go up 1, you should go right 3. Oh, look. That point's on that line as well. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
I know. All right. Let's jump over to D. D is right here. Again, I'm going to start at the point to the left. For my rise, am I going up or down?
Down.
Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go down, that's a negative. So negative 4 over, what's my run? Positive 2. What is negative 4 over positive 2? Negative 2. Good. So if you would have gone the other way, you would have gone up 4 and then left 2. So you would have had a positive 4 over a negative 2. Which is the same thing when you reduce. All right, part F. So I'm going to go down 1, 2. So that's a negative 2. Then I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Negative 1 over 3.
Negative 1 over 3. All right, G, I'm going to start on the far left point. I'm going to rise first. How many am I rising?
4, 2, 3, 4.
Good. How many am I running?
2.
1, 2. Good. So 2 over 1, or just 2 is my solution. Now, see how they all have the dots on here? On your homework, they might not have the dots. Or as we get farther into the chapter, they might not have the dots. You can add the points anywhere it crosses on an exact X, Y. So don't be afraid to put the points if they're not already there, okay? Okay, H. Whoa, H is a long one. 1, 2. 2 is my rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is my run. 2 over 8 reduces to what? 1 over 4. Again, anytime you reduce, you can go back and check. If I rise 1 and I run 4, I'm still right on that line, so it works out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my rise.
And 9 is your run.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is my run. Does that reduce?
No.
I like to check the ones that don't reduce too, because it shouldn't really cross exactly, and it shouldn't have a nice, neat, ordered pair in between the 2 points if it doesn't reduce. So check those out too. Okay, last one. J. What's my slope? Negative 1, because I went down 1, and then I go right 3, so negative 1/3. Again, that one doesn't reduce, so it shouldn't really cross any ordered pair exactly in between those 2 points, and it doesn't, so I'm good. That was a lot happening. What are your questions?
I'm writing.
All right, this is another way to write slope. So you can write delta y over delta x. You can write rise over run. You can write up and down change over left and right change. Or you can write this. This is y2 minus y1. So basically the difference between the y's over x2 minus x1, which is the difference of the x's, right? Now, the first x they give you, that's x1. The first y they give you is y1. The second x they give you is x2. The second y they give you is y2. And then you're just plugging it in. So I want to start with the second y, which is what? 6. So y2 is 6 minus y1. What's y1? 5. Over, what's x2? And x1? Good. You get 1 over 1, which is 1. So my slope here is 1. Can you refrain, especially when you're this close to the YouTube video recording? Okay, next one. What is my y2? Minus, what's y1? Good. Over, what's x2? Good. And what's x1? Good. Careful with your signs. The biggest mistakes I see in slope with two ordered pairs are sign errors. You're always subtracting, okay?
Oh, we're always.
And be careful if it's like a minus and negative. You got to take care of it, okay? So -4 minus 1 is what? Good. And -6 minus 4 is? And what is -5 over -10?
-1 over 10. Or 1 over 5.
1/2.
That too.
How is it a positive one?
Because a negative divided by a negative. All right. Other questions?
2 minus 2 on the top.
All right. So I want y2 minus y1. So -2 minus 2. You're right.
And then 3 minus 3 is 5. Right.
Very good. So we get,
-4 and 0.
all right. And anything divided by 0 is what?
Undefined. Error.
Yeah, you have to say undefined.
Undefined.
How we just put un?
Uh-huh.
Unneeded.
All right, part D. What's my M? 0 minus 4 over
Minus -2.
10 minus a -2. Good. So up top, 0 minus 4 is -4. 10 minus -2 is like 10 plus 2, which is 12. -1/3. Good. So, the way you graph these is you start at the ordered pair, and then you use the M as your slope. I like to think of the M just stands for slope, but I like to think of it as move. Okay, like this is how we're going to move. No, that's not what it stands for, but in my head it does, okay? All right, we are going to graph -3, 2 first, that ordered pair, so go left 3, go up 2.
I'm confused with what we said.
Whoops, hold on. So you start at the point. From that point, you're going to rise -2, then you're going to run 3. How would I rise a negative? Go down 2, go right 3, put a point. Yep. And then do it again. So, hold on. Shh. Everybody quit talking. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go down 2. I'm going to go right 3. Then I shall recap what we did. This tells you where to start. We are graphing the line through this point with this slope. Slope tells us how we're going to move. Slope is rise over run. So I'm going to start at the point -3, 2. So I went left 3, I went up 2, I put a point. Then I used a rise of -2. Well, a negative rise means down. So I went down 2, and then I ran 3. I ended up back at the origin. That's fine. Then I did it again. I rised to negative, so I went down, and then I ran 3, so I went right. Once I have 3 points, I can make a line. I can put arrows on the ends. All right, how do I graph this?
You go to 2 and 3. Positive 2.
So I go right 2, then I go up 3, I put a point.
Yeah, and then you don't go nowhere.
A slope of 0 looks like what?
Undefined.
No, undefined is a different kind of slope. I want the slope to be 0. Think of the skier going 0 miles an hour. You would go 0 miles an hour if you were going side to side. It doesn't matter how many points you have on there. Because I'm drawing with my finger on an iPad. Oh, I thought you meant why is it a little slanty? I thought you were trying to insult me. Why isn't it going up? Because that would be a slope of undefined. Thank you. No, she said why isn't it? I misunderstood what she was saying. Remember, a slope of 0, you can think of the skier, that's great. If you don't like that, think of how to get a 0. You aren't rising at all, but you can still be running. Like you could divide this by any number you wanted and you'd still get a 0. You just can't go up or down. You can't rise at all, but you can run back and forth as much as you want. Okay? So a slope of 0, you just have a horizontal line. Questions? All right, C. Sorry for getting snippy. I thought you were trying. All right. How do I start this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. Now, I need a rise and a run. You just put a 1 under it. So I'm going to run 1 every time I rise 6. Now, if you run out of space, you could actually think of them as both being negative, right? Do you agree that this is the same as this? So you can go back to that first point. This time go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. What are your questions?
I just thought it like a teacher's worst nightmare is getting their kid in their school.
Let's keep the questions to what we're doing. I don't need to talk about my home kids. All right, how do I graph this?
You go over. I mean, go left 1 and go down 4. You got the next.
This is D. So I'm graphing the point -1, -4. So left 1, down 4. From there, I'm going to rise 3, and then I'm going to run a -4. So 1, 2, 3. How do I rise or how do I run a negative? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Got it? We sure are. Questions? All right. Let's keep it going. 4, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's like a symbol we can put in front. You got an order? Please, of course.
Now what?
Nothing.
It's a vertical.
This is a vertical line. There we go. Yes. To get undefined, that's when you're dividing by a 0. So in this case, you're not running at all, but you can rise as much as you want.
Wait, are we, is there like a symbol we can put
UND period. All right. Questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. I think this might be the last example. All right. 3, 0. How do I graph that? Go right 3 and stay. Then I rise 1 and I run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to be off the graph. So I'm going to think of this as -1 and -5 to find my third point. So now I'm going to go down 1, left 5. If I did rise 1 and run 5 twice, I'd be way over here. I don't want to do that, but I also want 3 points. So I'm going to think of both of them as being negative. A negative over a negative is still a positive. That gives me this extra point over here. All right, today was all about what? Very good. Draw a smiley face with a slope as a mouth. No. All right, here comes your homework.